Hey everybody, hope you are well. This morning I was in that kind of dream state, about to wake up, but in that moment where you can continue to dream and take the dream wherever you want it to go. And in that dream state, I had a massive download. I don't know where it came from, why they showed me this example, but I know I had to share it with you because it made so much sense to me. And it basically solved the entire world's problems whilst I was sleeping this morning. So of course I have to share you how we can solve the world's problems. So our problem in the world is that we have division. Two sides of the story, black and white, this or that, two sides of the coin. Like we constantly are separated into this or that. And what I was kind of showed this morning is the solution lies within integration. It relies within the middle ground. It relies within the heart center. It relies within the balance point. Our bodies teach us perfectly, in perfect example every single day, how to live in that center or that balance point, how to live in your heart space. You have a left and a right side. You have a left brain and a right brain. And one side is more dominant than the other. So I'm right-handed, which means I dominantly do more things on my right side. But that is not to say that I don't need my left side to do things as well. Okay, you have two hands, you have two ears, two eyes. There are two sides to your body. And it would be ludicrous for me to choose a side, right? And we think of our body as one whole thing that works together. And it does, it works perfectly and unified together in its movements and its motions. And it's because that's how we think of it. That's how we've integrated it. That's how we've integrated our left and our right brain hemisphere to work together in the middle point, in that balance point, in the center point. So as I said, it would be strange if I said, left side, you're wrong. Nothing you do is going to serve me. Everything that you say is or do or move is just the wrong way, and the right way, my right side, is the way to go. So I'm never using you again. You can screw yourself. And then I'm never going to dress this side of my body. I'm never going to use this side of my body. So you can get screwed because the right side is the way to go and whatever. I mean, come on. That's strange, right? But that's what's happening in this lifetime. Get dressed again. That's what's happening. That's what's happening in the world. We are pushed. We are made to choose between one thing and another. But if we choose to integrate, more often than not, if we choose a common ground and a middle ground, God, half the world's problems would be solved. Let me explain. There's always going to be good and bad. There's always going to be sides. So we are pushed to always choose one side compared to another. There is always division, always this or that. It is a system set up for failure. Unless you can always see the middle ground and choose to stand on the middle ground. And what I mean by the middle ground, for an example that I was shown this morning in my dream, was I was standing on a stand-up paddleboard in the middle of a lake. Okay? Now, where do you have to stand on the stand-up paddleboard in order to stay afloat? Somewhere in the middle vicinity. Because if you walk off towards the ends of that stand-up paddleboard, you're going to fall and flip and head into the water, which is failure, right? So hence coming back to that middle ground that I'm going to constantly refer to. Because the middle ground is the safest part. It's where you can see the whole picture and move around freely. Then a decision comes your way, all right? In life, you will always have these divisions and decisions, this way or that way. Black or white, to V or not V. This religion, to choose this religion or that religion. To go for this country or that country. To listen to this person or that person, whatever it may be. You end up choosing a side and you end up unsteady on the ground if you do choose a side. Instead, we can choose to say, well, I'm this religion, but I respect everyone's religion. And whatever they choose to believe or think is completely up to them. That brings you back to the common ground. It brings you back to the middle ground. It brings you back to that heart-centered place of unity. Okay, it's not choosing a side, it's choosing how you believe, but it's coming back to the middle ground, if that makes sense. Another example, I'm going to choose this for my body at this time because this feels right for me. Maybe it's a medical decision, right? But I also completely understand why you would choose to do this. And as long as that makes you happy, and as long as you feel well and supported for doing that, middle ground. Division gone. And you know that saying, two sides of the coin? Right there, it's these sayings that they kind of cause division in themselves. Two sides to the coin. Yes, there is two sides to the coin, but I will take the coin and I will buy myself a cookie with the entire coin. Middle ground. So one of the hardest ways to find integration or to find the middle ground or that harmonious center is in an argument or a disagreement. Most people always think the other person is wrong, that their choice is wrong, that what they're doing is wrong, what they're saying is wrong. It's way harder to say, okay, let me take both sides of this argument away and figure out a middle ground. It's really the only way forward. It's the only way to coexist in this world is if we can stand in the middle ground. That's not to say that we have different choices, different ways of living, different hair colors, different clothes, different everything. It just means always come back to that heart center, always come back to the middle ground, the middle choice in seeing the entire picture, in standing in the center of that surfboard. Because I tell you what, you're going to get into big trouble if you choose to go to the end of that surfboard. If you choose to go, this way is right, this way is wrong. It'll never serve you. It'll never end up well for you if you do that. Always come back to the middle ground. And it's the same in our body, right? If you work from a head space, look where your body is positioned. Look where the head's positioned. If this was a surfboard standing up and I go and stand here, I'm going to fall off into the water. If I come back to the center point, which is my heart space, which is where I can integrate and balance and bring the big picture together, bring the left and the right side together, bring that blood flow through my whole body together, bring my decision in a harmonious, well-balanced center point, then if everyone lived like that, if everyone just took the time to just come back, take a split second and go, I understand why you're doing this and I don't want to do it that way, but I completely get why you do it. It just means you will always be able to accept or even understand that there are two sides to everything and no side is better than the other. So when you feel like you're being pushed into a decision that is very one-sided, think about that surfboard. Think about standing on that stand-up paddleboard in the middle of a lake and think of where your foot placement is. Is it all the way over here and you're going to eventually tip over? Or can you come back to that middle ground and say, okay, I understand your viewpoint and I understand my viewpoint, so let's just have that integration together and let's both stand in middle ground.